Hey everyone, it's Joy here for Scrapbook.com, and I'm excited that I get to share a video during the Creative Kindness Week, and I'm going to be showing a card that you can easily mass produce. So I'm going to start with a piece of white mixed media cardstock from Scrapbook.com and their bricks stencil. I have this on the Waffle Flowers grip mat. So when you're mass producing, thinking like this makes things easier, so you can just put down your stencil and your cardstock. I also like to use stenciling for mass producing cards. It makes it easier to get a lot of coverage over your whole background. And I am starting on the right side with Salvaged Patina Distress Oxide ink, and I'm going to go darker and then lighter once I'm going to the left side, because the left side is going to have our floral design. So you could just keep going through this and getting all of your stenciling done. But again, I'm just going to show you one card. That way this video isn't forever long. Now in my MISTI, I have my flowers lined up from the Sunshine Blooms stamp set. We're going to give them a bit of a watercolored look. I wanted to be able to have a lot of florals and a good amount of color, but not take the time of having to stamp each and every flower. So I'm going to show you how we're going to solve that problem. So here's my layout. I do have all the stamps kind of aligned on the left side of the card, and I do have them kind of squished together so they will be close. In my MISTI, I am using the grid below, and I'm just going over 2 squares and up 2 squares. And I'm going to use just a little bit of my tape runner on the background to make sure my card really stays. So again, I'm going to be using some Distress Oxide inks. I will be using Spun Sugar, Dried Marigold, and Squeezed Lemonade. But like I said, I don't want to have to stamp each and every flower. So I am just going to separate it out into thirds since I'm using 3 colors. So I'm going to start with the Squeezed Lemonade, then Dried Marigold. I'm just going to ink these up, letting them overlap onto part of the stamps, which I kind of like that look. And then I'm going to come in with Spun Sugar. Now where the colors meet, I don't want this really harsh line, so I'm just going to take a blending brush and just tap that little line so that way the colors blend together. So keeping your stamps in your MISTI, once all of your cards are stenciled, then you're just going to keep popping in your card bases and keep stamping them. I'm going to spritz this with a little bit of water from my Distress sprayer to give it that watercolor look, and then I'm just going to press down on my MISTI to give it a nice good stamp, and then we pull this back. We have all of our beautiful florals in one stamping with multicolors. But you don't have to do multicolors. You could just do one color if that's something that you like. I think this turned out so fun. I love all the colors on the background. So again, you're just going to keep putting your cardstock in your MISTI and stamping until you have all of your images stamped up. If you want to participate in Cards for Kindness, you guys can click the link below in the description to get the information about that. Now I want to do some splatter, and so I'm just going to use the Salvaged Patina Distress Oxide ink with a little bit of water and just a paintbrush, and I'm going to splatter the background. You could have all of your background, all of your cards together and just splatter it all at once. So all of these techniques I'm trying to keep fairly simple, but you could also leave out some of these things if you want it to go even faster. I think for me to make 10 cards took me about an hour, so it really didn't take that long. I think it was a little bit less than an hour. So I do want those splatters to dry just a little bit, so I'm going to take my heat tool to that, but you could also just set this aside to dry, and it should dry really quick. I'm going to use that Salvaged Patina one more time, but I'm going to use the ink pad to directly onto the paper, just on the edges. I thought it would give it a nice little extra something, so I'm going to go on all 4 edges of this card panel, giving that a little bit of a nice finished edge. It's darker. It brings in a little bit of a distressed look, which I really, really like. Now I'm going to use sentiments from a few different stamp sets. I'm using 5 sentiments total, and I'm actually going to show you stamping all 5 sentiments. But since I have 10 cards, 2 cards each will have a sentiment. So I am using the Just a Note stamp set, Cards for Kindness, Cards for Kindness Mini, and Handmade Essentials. The Handmade Essentials I believe I'm using at the end here. But I'm just using this with some black ink from Honeybee Stamps, lining it up in my MISTI, and I can get 2 cards done. If you wanted it to go even quicker and more simple, then you could just do 1 sentiment for all of your cards. But I wanted to show more sentiments. So we have our next sentiment here that says thinking of you. I will have 2 cards with this. Then we have our third sentiment that says happy birthday. So this card design can be used for anything, which is really nice. This one says I believe in you. And then we have just a note, which I think is so cute. I do want to add the centers to my flowers. I was debating on whether I was going to do that or not, but I'm going to pop them in place. I'm just lining up my card panel in my MISTI, and this will be just as quick as stamping all of the flowers. Probably quick, well, actually quicker because I'm only using 1 color of ink. I'm using Bundled Sage Distress Oxide ink. And I'm just going to do this for all of my card bases. Now we have nice little pretty green centers to our flowers. I have all of my A2 size card bases, and I want to stamp on the back. I want this to have a sweet little message. And it says made with kindness. And I believe this is the Handmade Essentials. And I'm going to do this for all of my card panels. And I'm doing it before I adhere my card fronts on, just in case I have a oopsie with the stamping. But I'm going to line that up at the bottom. And then again in my MISTI, I'm just going to ink this up with some black ink, and then I can go through all 10 of my card bases. So let's ink that up. And I'm just prepping the ink pad with my hand because it's brand new and I haven't inked it up yet. So I want to make sure that my ink is going to stick nicely. Okay, so now I have all of my card bases adhered to my card panels, and we can take a look at these. I think they're so pretty. So I have my 2 hellos here. You're also going to notice that I switched up the ink colors. So I kind of just reversed the yellow and the pink on half of the cards, and the other half was the original yellow, orange, pink, and then I went pink, orange, yellow. So you can kind of change that up too. It's nice and easy. It's quick. Like I said, these cards took me about an hour, a little bit less. And now we have 10 beautiful cards that we can share with other people. I think these turned out lovely. I love all of the different sentiments on here, so you can have all different kinds of occasions. Thank you so very much for stopping by and watching. I hope that you enjoyed this project, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.